So thank you guys for joining us. We get kicking off the week, and what we're going to be discussing today's topic is seeing more people coming up with trying to incorporate or finally putting those dreams or those ideas they had, putting it on paper and trying to fulfill that, how they can become, in essence, their own boss. But with that comes, a lot of fear. People are afraid. There are still people who want to pursue their dreams. They are nervous. So what we're going to talk about today, right quick, is that normal to be scared or to have that fear? Uh, we was in the presence of a really a man who was very successful. We was at one of his conference. I know in our line of business we go to a lot of trainings, a lot of conferences. We put ourselves being in the same room with like-minded people who work on their own. In other words, I'm more talking about that you don't punch a clock, so to speak, right? You don't have that W-2, which is nothing wrong with it. However, when you're in sales, you have to motivate yourself, because if you don't work, if you don't close that deal, you don't eat, right? So you just can't, you have to be very creative. You have to have that particular mindset to get out there, despite you really don't get no sick days when you work for yourself. But with that, you also get freedom, but you also have that, you have to, like, it's freedom, but then you have that responsibility. So this particular man says, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. So that helps us to see that having fear is normal. One of the biggest reasons why what people are afraid of, what people are afraid of? They're afraid of failure. The fear of failure. And that's why a lot of people don't make start. But guess what? I'm going to give you a secret. You got to fail. So it's just to go ahead and get it out of the way. You're going to make mistakes. Most people that started businesses this is not their first try. I think I have a few LLCs under my belt with different ones. You keep trying, you find a niche. Being an entrepreneur is a person who has a vision to try to fill a service. And with that, it changes in life. It changes in life. So sometimes, maybe like if you live in New York have mass transportation. But then what happens? We find that people who maybe are not, maybe through certain health challenges, they have to, maybe they need an alternative type of transportation. So then because you know what, I'm going to fill that need. So that's why sometimes people who start businesses, it changes. Now we have people who constantly need websites, but they don't have the time to do that or the gift. Like, I need somebody to help me. So then there's some people who are creative, who have the natural inclination to be artists. They've learned to put it on digital. So then they provide a service. So that's why sometimes you're trying to figure it out, but you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. So you get out of that. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is how do we do our fears? How do we combat that? Because it's normal. It's normal. So I was thinking about this subject, and before I get in, and I would like to say who we have here on our panel this morning is joining us, and we have our Blue team that I am so appreciative, because you guys definitely has helped putting this together. We have Executive Assistant Soul is no joke. Say hi to everybody, Soul.
Hi, good morning.
And then we have morning, and we have the lovely Brianna, who is no joke when it comes to website designs.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Brianna, in sunny Florida. Thank you so much. And we have our guest here. We have Miss Tanya Bellinger. Tanya, give us the name of your business.
Well, I'm working on it's supposed to be T&M Transportations.
doing
Awesome.
business as, yeah. So I'm trying to get it off the road. Brianna, I know I've been hitting you up, girl, but I don't know, but that's the fear I'm having right now. I'm trying to get it off the ground and get out of my own way. Basically, that's what's happening right now.
I like what you said. We're going to address that. You said get out of your own way. But you did, your boss move was you started. So 2023, boss move. Now, I know you've been thinking about doing business for a minute, but you finally made that move for 2023. So congrats on that. Sometimes that's the biggest challenge. So we want to big up Tanya right now.
Thanks,
Sometimes the biggest
ladies.
challenge is making the start. Very good, Tanya. And Miss Yolande Baptiste.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You want to tell us a little bit about what are your boss moves or some things that you got in the making for 2020?
Yeah, I'm still looking for a niche right now, but my goal has to do with like cars or driving, whether it's hauling or just that kind of stuff. Carrying jobs, career jobs.
Awesome. Very good. I think that is awesome. So your boss move for 2023 was one making a decision to even start to create. And I know behind the scenes we've been working on something that's really good. So I'm going to ask you, ladies, before we delve a little bit more into that subject of fear. Now, Tanya, you said getting out of your. What is your the, the thing that you may be most afraid of when it comes to tackling on business?
Well, I guess the mistakes and because I hear certain things people say, well, if you make big mistakes, you gotta pay. So I'm like, I gotta make sure I have I have all my ducks in a row, but the ducks ain't start lining up yet. So I'm already thinking ahead, and I'm not even at that point yet. How you say you thinking the worst that haven't even occurred. So it's like just the brain is just rushing before I'm getting to where I need to get to.
Okay, thank you
Mhm.
for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. And what about you, Yolande?
My fear is having debt that I will not be able to cover within a decent amount of time, or that's basically gonna overtake me. So yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And those are definitely legitimate concerns. Um, so, do we make mistakes? Are you going to make mistakes? You are going to make mistakes. However, you can leverage that. In other words, if your fear is making a mistake, then we have to be able to counteract that. So, one of the things that you can avoid or is putting yourself and studying people who have maybe come before you and being open and being coachable so you could eliminate something. So you're gonna make some mishaps, you gotta figure out what's working. So you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible. That's very important. But one of the ways of eliminating unnecessary mistakes is finding a network of people and maybe in a similar industry or people who have started their business and talk it up with them. I know when I started the mortgage business, very interesting. I was scared to death, and at the same point when I'm getting through it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to pray. What did I get myself into? I started looking for books, and I started finding I found a good book of a person who was really, really successful in the mortgage business. I really enjoyed. I read all. I think he had 4 books. I read all of them. Oh, they be stopped. Right. I didn't read them. I listened to them. I'm a big Audible. I'm a big Audible fan because I don't, my eyes get tired. Because of that, I've probably, in the past 2 years, probably read over 50 books. So you have to be a student. You have to be a student. I read all 4 of his volumes, and it helped me a lot. So you want to definitely, search out and study and put yourself in a network of people that can help. That's one. And now talking about debt. So when you have a business, you definitely have to leverage yourself. You have to leverage. You got to put some skin in it. A lot of times people let things like money and stuff hold them back. One thing I would tell people, and we also help people with credit consultation, is that learn how to leverage debt and learn how it works. Because you have to put some skin in the game, but you have to, you have to definitely be able to mind your books. And you only want to use debt if it's going to, you got to see your rate of return. Like, okay, if I'm going to purchase this, how is this going to be for me? Those days are going to buying, fancy. I'm not accusing anybody on this panel of doing that, but buying a Gucci shoe, I don't know if you ever did that. But we don't want to use those cards, or we don't want to use debt, but it's not going to give us a rate of return. But say if you do get a vehicle, that vehicle will make you money. So those are good concepts. So since you brought that up, Yolanda, that is something that okay, I'm going to make this move, but if I'm going to purchase something, what is my rate of return? How is this going to fit me in my life, right? So that if we are thinking about that in everything we do in life, it will propel to be successful, even with our association. It's calculating, but think about how is this network is going to help me move to the next level, and vice versa. Someone's probably looking at you the same. Your network equals your network. And I have to say, when I started associating with people whose net worth was much higher than mine, I started getting really, really good suggestions. And I'm going to say one suggestion was, I used to, and this is just personal choice, but I used to always get into these phone plans. And it was like, somehow, some way, these phone plans always got a way of getting you caught up and you spending money and owing this. And a friend who is wealthy said, "Why you got that? Why you got a phone plan? That's dumb." I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Get prepaid. Spend your money on that. Get a prepaid." That's the best advice that I got, because I don't owe anybody. It's on my terms, and the prepaids as well. Let me spend my debt, or let me leverage my credit in something else, and I get to write that off too, because I use them for business. So little tidbits like that, it helped me so much. No more do I have the aggravation. Okay, so that's just one thing. So fear. Anything we're afraid of, we have to counteract it with something else. So for me, my biggest fear is not trying, not getting started. So if I'm afraid to fail, what is bigger than what's fear? So like some people say, well, I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me, but I'm also afraid of not being able to pay my bill. So what's my motivation?
That's another one of my fears too, what people think, and I said, I have to get out of that because I'm too old for that. I'm really too old for what people think. But it's there. I'm not going to say it's not there. It's there.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's true, because it's like awkward. I remember, again, with the same successful guy who's, multimillionaire, he said, "I'm corny." Say, "You corny?" He said, "Yep, but I'm corny and rich." Did he care what people think? Sometimes you got to put yourself out there. In other words, you got to come out of your comfort zone. Sometimes I remember growing up, this one guy, he was so cool, right? It's freezing outside. He got his jacket open. I said, "Why don't you close your jacket?" He said, nah. No, what? Because he's afraid of what people, he want to look cool, but he's cold. He's worried about what people think. He probably got arthritis all up in his chest now. That was years ago. I'm like, that's so silly. So that's a good point, afraid of what other people think. So that's something we do have to grapple with, right? We got to get out of other people's heads. What you think about me is none of my business, but what I think about me is my business. You could think, and once I had to come to that conclusion, especially people who know you. Sometimes people who know you, you always trying to do something. We got to stop. We can't, whatever they think, that's their right to think it. So I want to get out of their head. because it don't matter what they think. What matters is what I think, and then I will attract people who view me the way I view me. So self appreciation and self worth, you have to invest in yourself. You have to deal with that inner conflict and be able to trust your own voice, especially in sales. You got to be comfortable with who you are so you can make your clients comfortable. Good point. We're not going to stay too much on because obviously it's Monday and phones start ringing and we got to start reaching out and making those boss moves. But anyone else has something when it comes to fear? You know, how can our fear motivate us instead of stopping? Anyone else have something they might be afraid of?
I would say my fear is being not. I don't like being timid, and that's just my personality. And I feel like I have to get that out more. Like, I feel like people respect business owners more when they're more dominant and they like are quick on their toes. And I'm just not like that. So I have a fear of not turning into that or knowing when to turn it on, basically. That's
right. Yeah, Brianna, I think I'm there with you like that.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing with that. So what is the reality of that? Well, what I find, what people like more is talking about themselves. And I think people who are naturally inclination, when you are a good listener. I remember one time I was talking with this guy, and he talked. I just kept my mouth shut, and I was like, Because I was interested. I find people to be very interesting. I love to see what someone has to offer. You know, he said after the conversation, he said, "It was a conversation that I had. I didn't do no talking. He did all the talking." But he said I was the best conversation he had. So what's the lesson in that? People love themselves. And the way you can best service someone is being a good listener. And if people can be comfortable, because if it's really about the person. If we focus on servicing our clients, then they will come. And the only way we can do that is we have to listen. And then we do have to have guts to tell them, okay, these are your options. So the more you take yourself, the more we take ourselves out of the equation, that we are in service, we're here to serve our clients, then eventually we will find our voice, because then we're going to have to say, okay, this is what it is. You have this option, that option. So that's a start. So I think for you, it's good that you acknowledge that, but focus on your strength too. Focus on that part, and that part that you have is being a good listener. And then look for books and persons and put yourselves in situations where you will have to speak more. So I think there's a book. So the next time we get together, I'm going to talk about some of the books that I've read. Let me just write quick, and then I'll wrap it up with Audible. And I think, let me see if this one is in my library. It was by, it may be in my, because I had two. Oh, this one, it's High Performance Habits. High Performance Habit by Brendon Burchard. And he talked about the habits that we need in order to be successful. And a lot of times we focus on what we're good, but then we need to also look at the things that we don't do well and then work on those too. So we have to have an assessment we are. So what is good? You know, some people are more naturally inclined to be a organizer. They make sure they got their T's crossed and their I's dotted, but they might be afraid to make a move. So organizational skill is perfect but then what do I need to get to that level? So if we just focus on what we do, then we're going to probably be mediocre. If we want to get to that next level, have to focus on, we have to have a self-assessment of ourselves and say, what do I need? Now, we can either get that organically by working on ourselves or bring people lives that have that and then see how together we can work it out. So again, that book is High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. All right, but thank you guys for sharing that. This was really, really, really good. I feel inspired for Monday. This Monday Pep Boss Moves for 2023. And well, yeah, let's go get them. Let's go get them right quick, Brianna. You want to let people know what you do?
Yes, so I do social media marketing for the Market Formula team, and whoever else needs social media marketing. I create logos and do website generation as well. I also do life insurance and health insurance and annuities.
Woo, woo, woo. And she's responsible for my logo, Boss Moves. I love it. My chapter. Awesome. And we have our one. And so, you want to let people know what you do?
Yeah, I just assist Rosalind.
She is one of the. She is such a good executive assistant. Like I said, one of the things that I know, what my personality is, I know I needed someone who is an organizer and who pays attention to details. That is painful for me to do that. So I was blessed and fortunate to have someone to help fill that gap. So thank you. And Tanya, you want to let everybody know, and what you're doing? I mean, I know you said it a little bit. You just want to close it up, wrap it up?
Well, I was thinking about going bigger. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my vehicle to get the, and this is what just to get jump started. I need to get the website started. If I keep calling Rihanna and I keep backing up, but then I need to get the magnet, the logo to put on my vehicle, which we discussed the other day. So I need to just jump start and get that, so at least that part is done.
All right, so I'm going to help you with that. Can you, Brianna, can you have an appointment? Tanya, you want to make an appointment with Brianna?
I do want. That's the point. That I do want to do it, but I keep because I'm like.
What you doing in the next half an hour?
Nothing.
Okay, Brianna, what you doing in the next half an hour? Okay, there you go. Brianna, call her. Always call your clients because clients have so much stuff going on. They say, I'm going to call you. They never call you unless they have, it's mandated by the law and they're in trouble and they have to get it done or they're going to get fined. So, Brianna, give her a call. Just start talking ideas. Get it out the way. How you like that? All right, Yolanda, let us know.
Yeah, so it's related to driving, and I just enjoy driving. So I want to do something related to that, whether it's hauling or courier or different things I'm looking into. And related to Brianna's fear, I kind of feel like that too sometimes, where it's like I may not be the dominant one, but then I have to realize that it's gonna come with experience. With knowledge, then once you know what you're doing, then it's just gonna come out. It's just in the beginning, I don't have that experience, so sort of fearful to step out and go up to people and that kind of stuff.
Very good, very good. Thank you for sharing that. Driving, especially when I was much younger, I loved driving because it took me away. And not everybody likes driving, but there's a whole lot of people that like being driven around. That is definitely a service. So you have to put yourself in the way of people who need your services or companies who need drivers. And actually, there is a shortage of drivers in a lot of industries. So you are definitely on the right track. I remember a young girl, 26 years old. I was driving a Greyhound bus. I had a whole bunch of people sleeping on my bus. I'm going through Ohio and through the mountains of Pittsburgh, and it is raining and everybody is sleeping. I'm like, what in the world am I doing? But I did it. So we have to be able to come out of our comfort zone because there's the only way in growth is you got to be a little uncomfortable so you can get comfortable. It's not the other way around. I want to be comfortable to get uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable to grow, right? All of those of you who have children, you have beautiful children. It started off and then eventually it grew, you got uncomfortable, and then you had that beautiful birth of that beautiful child. And life, that's what it is. We got to embrace the uncomfortable. All right, good. Thank you guys. I hope you do a little fight today. We can all, Roz at bossmove.com. And if you want to email me, you can reach me at consult@bossmc.net. All right, guys, thank you so much. And may your next move be a boss move that's going to help enhance your life. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.